Okay, Mansi.
Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
I am
Yes, sir.
okay?
You can start now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let us come to understand certain provisions of Order 9, which are very important. Normally, once the what are the consequences and how the hearing take place? Now, when the suit is listed, once, because under the provisions of CPC Order 7, you learn, plaint must be lodged by the plaintiff. Then Order 7, Rule 9 tells you that once the plaint is admitted by the office, I mean registrar's office, protonotary's senior master's office, the plaintiff is under obligation to pay the little amount for the purpose of service and also present writ of summons. It is the duty of the plaintiff to submit writ of summons or go to the office to prepare it. In the city civil court and high court, normally the office itself prepares. In the high court, as per the high court rules, the advocate has to get it typed and submit it. So if you don't submit it, the consequences are given in the Order 9, Rule 9.2. The suit will be dismissed. If summons are not served, in consequences of the failure to pay the cost. So this cost which speaks of is when you open your Order 7, Rule 9. Order 7, Rule 9, you again go back here for refreshing your memory. So it tells you you are required to pay some cost along with the requisite fees for service and writ of summons. So suppose you filed a suit in the Bombay High Court, your property may be in Borivali. So you have to deposit some cost for the bailiff to go, normally a train fare. It may be 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 20 rupees court fees you are required to pay under the Court Fees Act. So you are required to furnish the copy of the additional copy of the plaint. If there are 2 defendant, 2 copies, 4 defendant, 4 copies. So writ of summons to be prepared, that will be sealed. So if you don't file in time under Order 9, Rule 2, the suit will be dismissed. Now this provision says that if the suit is dismissed for want of prosecution, for non-payment of court fees and summons, you have a right to restore the application or file a second suit within limitation. Filing of a second suit is not barred because this has been dismissed at the very threshold from the beginning stage. The defendant had no knowledge, no notice. Okay, that is Order 9, Rule 4. Plaintiff may bring fresh suit or may restore the suit. Restoration application to be filed within 30 days. That is Article 122 of the Limitation Act. Mansi, please open Article 122 of the Limitation Act. See that here? Article 122 of the Limitation Act. Exobavis 122. Yes. To restore a suit or appeal or application for review, revision, dismiss for default, 30 days from the date of dismissal. So this is the remedy. Okay. That is one. Second remedy is that here you have a right to file a new suit also on the same ground, placing on record. उसी सूट के अंदर मेंशन कीजिए आप, prior to the filing of the present suit, the plaintiff had also filed a suit earlier, namely stamp number so and so, which came to be dismissed for want of prosecution, namely for non-payment of court fees and not effecting service, namely it was dismissed under Order 9, Rule 2. So plaintiff is taking resort to the provisions of Order 9, Rule 4, filing the process. So it is advisable to take out application under 122 rather than filing a suit, again paying the court fees. Okay. Now, the next provision.
Sorry, sir, to interrupt. So what about
Hmm.
criminal complaints? What if jurisdiction is not there of the criminal complaint and that is dismissed?
Criminal case, in the CRPC, there is no provision for restoration. Okay. But second complaint is not barred. The complaints are under section 200, 201, 202 CRPC. वो पढ़ेंगे ना आप? There is no provision for restoration. Magistrate has no power to restore. Please note that. The magistrate or session court has no power to restore. A complaint can be, second complaint can be filed on the same set, there is no bar. There is no res judicata as such in the CRPC. But you should not suppress from the court. You must mention before the court, earlier complaint was filed, the same could not be prosecuted and came to be dismissed for non-appearance. So the second complaint is being filed. But in the CPC, there is a provision for restoration. But in the CRPC, there is no provision for restoration. A second complaint can be filed. There is no bar. But you can little twist facts and add it here. Understood?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Then under Order 9, Rule 5, dismissal of a suit when summons are not served. That's the procedure. Okay. Then Order 9, Rule 6 speaks of a situation where the plaintiff appears and defendant does not appear. Then Order 9, Rule 7 and 8. 8 is very important. Procedure when defendant only appears and the plaintiff doesn't appear. So here, if the plaintiff does not appear and only defendant appears, the court will dismiss the suit here, that the plaintiff has been negligent. Now here, when the suit is dismissed, second suit is not maintainable on the same cause of action. But your remedy is under Article 122 for restoration of the suit dismissed, giving sufficient cause. Reads Article 122 of the Limitation Act. Okay? Because Order 9, Rule 9 tells you second suit is barred. Decree against plaintiff by default bars a fresh suit. See that here? The earlier provisions of Order 9, Rule 4 grants you liberty to file a second suit. But whereas the provisions of Order 9, Rule 9 is barring such a remedy. The distinction between Order 9, Rule 4 and Order 9, Rule 9 is that in the case of Order 9, Rule 4, the writ of summons were not served upon the defendant. The defendant had no knowledge the suit is filed. Whereas in the case under Order 9, Rule 9, the defendant had knowledge. The defendant presumed to have filed written statement. The court had kept the matter for issuing certain directions and the plaintiff remained absent. Only defendant appears. So the court will dismiss the suit. The remedy of the plaintiff will be to take out application under Article 122, giving reasons why he remained absent. This application shall be filed within 1 month again. He will not be permitted to file a second suit. Then another important provision is Order 9, Rule 13, that is, इससे पहले Order 9, Rule 11, where the defendant does not appear. An ex parte order can be passed against the defendant by the court. Suit to proceed ex parte. That is Order 9, Rule 11 and 12. The court may say that the plaintiff has remained present, defendant is absent. The defendant has not repudiated the case of the plaintiff by leading evidence. Merely filing written statement is not sufficient. The court may say that court is satisfied with the case of the plaintiff, is plain and also evidence rendered. Plaintiff examine XYZ witness. The defendant has not cross-examined the witnesses. The suit to be decreed ex parte against the defendant. So this will be a final decree which can be executed under the provisions of Order 21. Now the remedy of the defendant is here, there are two remedies. One, to make an application for setting aside the ex parte decree under Order 9, Rule 13 within 30 days. That application will be filed under Article 123 of the Limitation Act. 123, to set aside a decree passed ex parte. Okay. Now the second remedy is to file an appeal under Section 96. Appeals under the provisions of Section 96 can be filed for setting aside the period of limitation, for which is 60 days and 90 days. That provision you will find can you help me, Mansi, in this appeal? That is section Article 114. Sorry, that is the CRPC. I'm sorry. 115. 115. I'm sorry. Ek minute. Yes. Article 116. "90 days from the date of the decree to the High Court and any other court is 30 days. Article 116 and Article 117. Okay. These are the limitation period. So you learned last time from the what is the meaning of decree, and in a decree and the order of restitution under 144 also is a decree. Order of restitution is normally passed when a decree is set aside, ex parte decree is set aside under Order 9, Rule 13. Pursuant to ex parte decree, the defendant is dispossessed in execution proceedings. Then he takes out application under Order 9, Rule 13 for setting aside the ex parte decree. The court allows the application, the decree is set aside on the ground that the summons were not correctly served, that the defendant has made out a prima facie case, He was not well. He could not contact the lawyer. He was out of India. A reason, B reason. Normally, the courts are liberal in setting aside. Once a decree is set aside, the court will say next order is the plaintiff has already taken possession of the premises in the execution of ex parte decree. So the plaintiff cannot say that the application has become functus officio or infructuous. The remedy is the court can pass an order for restitution under section 144. That means the property which has been taken away by the plaintiff in execution of the decree should be restored back to the defendant. Why? Because the ex parte decree has been set aside. This order can be passed by the trial court as well as the appellate court. So the order of restitution under 144 is a decree within the meaning of section 90, section 2D पढ़े आपने decree का definition. It's an appealable order. Okay. This is a very important. Normally in the examination, a question is asked to you under the provisions of Order 9, Rule 9, Order 9, Rule 13, Order 9, Rule 4. These are very, very important provisions. So now let us proceed here. Your plaint is ready, your written statement is ready. Okay. Now what is the next course? Next course is before the court. The court will try to frame issues under the provisions of Order 14. Okay. Before framing the issues, now the role of Order 10 will come into play. The court has the power to examine the parties at this stage. Now the expression used is at the first hearing of the suit. First hearing normally commences on the day when the issues are settled or framed. Now at this stage, the court will ask the plaintiff and defendant what are the admitted facts, what are the admitted allegation and allegation which are not admitted. The court will record those admissions. Before sending the matter for trial, and the court may ask the parties to go for arbitration, conciliation, lok adalat. That is power under Order 10, Rule 1A. It is mandatory. It is mandatory for the court to pass a direction. The court shall, after recording the admissions and denial, the court shall direct the parties now see section 89. Section 89 CPC tells you the mode of out-of-court settlement. 89. One is arbitration. This is covered under the Arbitration Conciliation Act where award is passed. Conciliation also covered under the same Arbitration Act. Then judicial settlement through lok adalat. Lok adalat is under what act? Anyone knows? Anybody knows?
It is Legal Service Authorities Act.
Ah, yes. Legal Services Act. And mediation. Mediation also covered under the Arbitration Conciliation Act. So the out of court, the court may appoint some retired judge, some advocate, or in the same court, another judge will take up the matter for conciliation arbitration. There is an arbitration center in every court, conciliation center, Lok Adalat, especially family matters, Lok Adalat, divorce matters, partition matters within brothers, sisters, family members, all matters nowadays are required to be sent for arbitration, conciliation, mediation, and Lok Adalat. This is before the trial, before the commencement of the trial. It's not mandatory, the parties must accept it. When this course has failed, then the court will resort to the provisions of Order 14. Before Order 14, the court may also direct the parties to file the affidavit of document. Order 11, Rule 13 deal with affidavit of documents. Now this is in form number 5 of the Appendix C. If we can open Appendix C, yeah, form number C check kare, Appendix 5. Affidavit of documents. Both the plaintiff and defendant are required to state, I, so and so, the plaintiff above named, do hereby state as under. I am filing the present affidavit pursuant to the provisions of Order 11, Rule 13 CPC, disclosing my affidavit, my documents. The following documents disclosed in the plain. All the documents you're relying upon. Okay, all disclosure of all the document. This is supplement to the provisions of Order 7, Rule 14 and Order 8, Rule 1A. Because written statement में plain में भी आपने mention किए. उसके अलावा additional document which may come and record with the leave of the court, you can file it here. Certain documents are privileged document under the Evidence Act, which you need not disclose. You may say instructions given to the advocate are privileged communication. Or you may say the original document of the lease is not in the possession of the plaintiff at the moment. They are the same are in the custody of the defendant or in the custody of the registrar. And the plaintiff shall give a notice under Section 66 of the Evidence Act and call upon the said document. Okay, all this is the list of documents which are normally filed before the framing of the issues before the court or even after framing of the issues, and parties must complete the inspection of the original document under Order 11, Rule 15. Okay? Agar nobody is cooperating, you can move the court. Now, Order 11, Rule 1 says discovery by interrogatories. This procedure is normally not exercised by the lawyers in Bombay At least I know. Now this is interrogatories. You ask questions to each other. Suppose in the plain, defendant will say that plaintiff could not file the suit in time because he was in America or London during the relevant period prosecuting studies. Okay. The defendant may ask question, in which year did you go to America? What is the college name? What is the degree you obtained? When was your departure from India? When did you, what is your visa number? What is your, the date and date of arrival, so and so. So these questions are in an interrogative form, maybe in the nature of cross-examination, with a view to avoid lengthy time at the time of the trial. Now these interrogatories should be filed with the leave of the court. This is before the commencement of the actual trial. Even the defendant, both the parties may ask each other question. Because certain pleadings may be hypothetical and not very clear, very evasive. In paragraph number so and so, you have mentioned that here you could not perform this act. What do you mean by that? So this question and answer by interrogatories will help the court and the parties in arriving at what exactly the relief sought, whether the plain or written statement disclose cause of action, whether the plaintiff or defendant is telling the truth before the court, and you can, this is also by way of impeaching the credibility of the witnesses. So interrogatories at this stage here can be done. Okay. So you are required to file, see, order 11 barabar padhiye, these all deal with interrogatories and inspection, which can be done. Then in between, there is a, yes, order 12 deals with admissions. Admission in the pleading. So you may draw the attention of the plaintiff or defendant. You may tell the court, my lord, the defendant in the written statement has admitted the claim of the plaintiff partly. The suit is filed for a sum of rupees 1 crore. He is admitting the liability to pay 75 lakh rupees. So let there be a decree on admission to that effect. Admission part is not only dealt under the provisions of Order 12 CPC and also under the provisions of Section 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 of the Indian Evidence Act. When evidence, what evidence is admissible, who can give evidence, who can give concession. So you have to bear in mind those provisions relating to admissions.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Sir, 10 minutes are left now for the meeting to finish.
10 minutes. Then another important provision before, at the time of the filing of the evasion, is Order 13, Rule 2. Check करें आप. Order 13, Rule 1 and 2 check करें. See, protection, impounding of documents. Now, Order 13, Rule 1 says that you should produce all the original document before the court. Because this is a primary evidence under the provisions of Section 62 of the Evidence Act. Section 64 of the Evidence Act tells you the procedure with regard to admission. पहले document डाल दीजिए आप. First, after the filing of the written statement, pleadings are completed, file the affidavit has to document. Both the parties have a right to know what are the documents each other relying upon. Number two, both the parties have a right to take inspection of the document of each other so that nobody is taken by surprise. And both the parties have a right to exchange interrogatories. Okay? Now, this exercise of the protection can be done before or after the issues. Now, preferably in Bombay City, in most of the cases, they file it after the framing of the issues. Because parties would like to know what the issues the court is framing and who has the burden to prove and discharge. Now, that provision for framing of the issue is Order 14. Okay? Order 14, check kijiye aap. Order 14 is very, very important. Issues of fact and issues of law. What are the issues of law? Number one, the defendant will take up the plea that the suit is barred by limitation or the res judicata, no jurisdiction. Does the defendant prove that the court has no jurisdiction? Does the defendant prove that the suit is hid by the doctrine of res judicata? Does the defendant prove that the suit is barred by limitation? Or does the plaintiff prove that there is a subsisting agreement between him and the defendant for sale of the flat? Does the plaintiff prove that he has paid the purchase price? Does the plaintiff prove that he is ready and willing to perform the other part of the contract? Or does the defendant prove that the contract has been terminated? So, दोनों पार्टियों के plain written statement and documents are seen for framing these issues. Please note that. So, these are question answer. Like under the CRPC, the magistrate or a session judge frames charges. Okay. When the police completes his investigation under section 173 CRPC, that is called police report or a charge sheet, uske baad charges are framed. So in civil cases, after the pleadings are completed, plain written statement file hone ke baad, when the parties have filed the list of documents and completed interrogation, interrogatories and inspection, the next important stage is framing of the issues. Normally, it is the court's duty to frame the issues, but in City of Bombay, the High Court practice is that the judges tell you, both the parties can file draft issues. Okay, both plaintiff on written statement, after perusing the plain written statement and various documents. So in a suit for example, possession, what are the issues? In a suit for possession, does the plaintiff prove that he is the owner of the property? Does the plaintiff prove that the defendant has no right at interest? Does the defendant prove that the defendant is a trespasser? Is the plaintiff entitled to possession? Is the plaintiff entitled to mean profit? Then defendant must have raised the plea that the suit is barred by the res judicata. Does the defendant prove that the suit is hid by res judicata? So, ये issues होने के बाद, the topic of issues is very wide. Alteration of the issues can be framed at any stage, even at the stage of the judgment. Under Order 14, Rule 5, आप check करेंगे court में anytime. The court may also examine witnesses before framing issue. Under Order 14, Rule 4. Under Order 14, Rule 5, issues, the court may amend the issues or strike off unnecessary issues. Issues must find a place in the pleadings. If they are not found in the pleading, plain and written statement, a document, they'll be unnecessary. In a suit in a matrimonial suit is being tried between the parties, husband and wife, for matrimonial offenses, dissolution of marriage. The plaintiff or defendant cannot take up the plea that the suit, the property belongs to my father, he is a necessary party, mother. No. The matrimonial code doesn't decide the rights of the other parties, except husband and wife and the children. Okay? The wife of a husband cannot take up the plea that I also paid money, I have become owner. That ownership right के लिए you have to file a separate suit for proving title. समझे ना आप? That is how it is. Now,
Sir, 3 minutes are left.
yeah, anybody has any question, please ask me. I will conclude this topic by next time. Ask any question so far.
So
Written.
I have one question. In Order 9, Rule 4 and Order 9, Rule 9, suppose in current situation when courts have shut down and they will be again sending all the parties summons. Now, if such summon is not received by one of the parties and does not appear before the court, which category will he fall in? Though the proceedings are in middle, parties were appearing before lockdown, but now since summons are not received by the parties, where will it fall?
If summons are not received, you come under Order 9, Rule 4. Okay? That's the provision.
Irrespective whether this case was going on previously.
Yes. Because your delay will be condoned under Section 5, invoking Section 5, sufficient cause is shown. Relying upon Section 5 and 122. 122 within 1 month. If within 1 month application file, there is a COVID situation prevailing for 5-6 months. So Section 5 of the Limitation Act will help you in condoning the delay.
Thank you, sir.
Since the writ of summons is not served, your remedy will fall under Order 9, Rule 4. Either you may file a fresh suit or take out an application for restoration.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I have a yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Ashrita, sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, if a suit is dismissed for lack of jurisdiction, then can a fresh suit be initiated, or can how like in the appropriate court, like?
Yes. If the suit is dismissed for jurisdiction, normally the court will pass an order. The plain be transmitted to presentation to proper court under Order 7, Rule 10. 10 ये देखा 10A पढ़े आपने? मैं बताया था आपने. Under Order 7, Rule 10A. Please check करें.
Okay.
That remedy is there under Order 7, Rule 10A, I think it is, if I am not mistaken. Yes. Rule 10A. Power of the court to fix appear in the court where the plaintiff is to plaintiff written. 10A. Written of plaintiff, Order 7, Rule 10. Order 7, Rule 10. The court has no jurisdiction. The plaintiff is being returned to the plaintiff. You have come to city civil court, go back to small causes court. Because relationship is landlord and tenant. You cannot come to city civil court of Bombay High Court. So, your limitation will be said under Section 14 of the Limitation Act. You have been prosecuting this suit diligently in the city civil court of Bombay High Court wrongly, maybe for 5 years, 6 years. So your whatever time you spend in the small cause in the earlier court may be condoned. Section 14 of the Limitation Act. Please note that.
Okay, sir. Yes. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anything
Thank
else?
you, sir.
My pleasure. So next lecture I will now take next lecture will be Wednesday. My days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay.
So less than a minute is left. Sandeep was also raising his hand. I believe in next class he'll be able to.
Please ask questions. Sandeep, bol dijiye.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Acha, sir,